everyone, welcome back to the So Vintage series here on A Vintage Vanity. We're going to be continuing our TARDIS circle skirt project. Now, if you missed part 1, you can go ahead and click that link up at the top of the screen. That will take you back to the beginning of the project. But here in part 2, we're going to actually be drafting the pattern piece and then cutting out the 4 panels. So, let's get cutting. Here is my tracing paper. It is 19 by 24 inches. But like I said, go ahead and you can use newspaper as well. I just happen to have a whole pad of this tracing paper. The next thing that you're going to need is you're going to need some tape. Because what you're going to do is you're going to find the crispest 90-degree angle on your piece. So you want to avoid, like, this is the end that I tore off the paper. So I know that that might be a little jiggity-jaggedy. So I am just going to tape down this nice crisp 90-degree angle there so it doesn't move on me. Then what I do is I take just a nail that I have laying around. The smaller and shorter the better. Then I take a piece of tape and I just plunge the nail up through there like so. Then I'm going to take that nail and I'm going to place it right at the very corner of our nice crisp 90-degree angle. Now I'm going to take my flexible measuring tape here and I'm going to actually puncture right through my measuring tape with that nail right at that 1-inch mark. That way my tape swings freely. Alright, now the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to start measuring our waist radius. Mine was 6.4. But because I punctured this at 1 inch, we're actually going to go to 7.4. And all I'm going to do is take my Sharpie, bring it right up to the edge here, put it right at 7.4. Just do your best to kind of eyeball where that is. And then just keeping the tape taut and your marker right up against it. There we go. We have a nice, beautiful 6.4-inch radius. Our length of our skirt is going to be 26 inches. And I'm going to put the 8-inch mark right on the line here. And then I'm just going to puncture it here. So our waist starts at 8 now from where we punctured the tape measure. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to add 26 plus 8, giving me 34. So I'm going to go all the way down to 34 on our tape measure. And oh, would you look at that? It goes right off the paper on me. So this tracing paper is not going to be wide enough for our skirt. So all we're going to do is we're going to tape another piece of tracing paper to this one here. We're not just going to run out of room on one side of our tracing paper. We're actually going to run out of room on all sides of it. So I went ahead and taped an additional 3 pieces to our main piece here. Now I am going to tape this down and I'm actually going to tape it on the 4 corners just to make sure that it does not move at all on me. Alright, now let's take that Sharpie, mark off our 32 inches. Ta-da! There we go. We've got our 1/4 panel for our circle skirt. Yay! You're going to take your non-fabric scissors, and I just cut off the end here that I have taped down. And you're just going to cut along our first line for the waist. You're going to come down here and cut along the edge. There we go. We have our circle skirt pattern. What I always do on any pattern piece I make is I actually will write onto it what it is. So that way I always know. Because if you ever make it for somebody else, you're able to know exactly what pattern goes for who. Right, so as far as our fabric, I have gone ahead and I have already washed and dried. As you can see, if I lay the pattern piece across the fabric like thusly, you'll see it actually runs right almost to the edge. So if the pattern actually went to the selvage, you would be fine with a 45-inch fabric. But as we can see, it's running right off. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to bring it over here to the side, because then that brings everything sideways. Is I'm going to still kind of keep it as center as possible without running off of the pattern, so we have more of a diagonal on our TARDISes. And I want to save as much of this fabric as possible, so I'm going to bring it right up to the top. Now, the reason that I'm not folding this and then cutting it is because if I was to fold it and then cut it, the TARDISes on the back would be upside down. So you'd have one panel where the TARDISes were right side up and the other panel where they were right side down. Now what we are going to do is we are going to cut all 4 of our pieces at once, and all I'm going to do is, with my fabric scissors, I'm actually going to cut. Now we're going to remove the pattern. We need 4 pieces of this. All I'm going to do is lay down my cut piece of fabric on top. Now I actually do cut it just a smidge longer than this piece, just to make sure I didn't mess anything up when I was laying it out. Alright, now we're going to do that 2 more times, and you're going to keep using the original, that top piece of fabric to cut out the remaining pieces. Okay, and now that we have all 4 pieces, I'm actually going to turn these over so you can see just a little bit better what I'm doing, rather than seeing the whiteness of my valance. So you're going to lay your first one out. Then you want to lay your next piece of TARDIS fabric on top, and you want to make sure again that they're both going in the same direction, and approximately not only lining them up but also trying to think about where the patterns end, so that you have approximately a half a TARDIS where the other half of a TARDIS is. And then continue to lay your other 2 pieces on top. Again, making sure they're right side up. Smooth everything out so it's nice and smooth. We're going to grab our pattern piece and we're going to lay it on top. We want to make sure that we're not running off the pattern. So just on your 2 ends, make sure you're just inside the selvage. So I'm just pinning my corners through all 4 layers of fabric. Alright, so now we're going to cut out our fabric. So this time I'm just going to take my fabric scissors and I'm just going to cut right along the pattern. So you're just going to continue to cut everything out, and then we'll be back. And that is it for part 2. I hope you guys really enjoyed this and found it helpful. In part 3 of the series, coming out next Sunday, we're going to actually get stitching these panel pieces together. I promise it's going to be fun. And if you want even more of this face, you can go ahead and check out any of my other videos, such as the vlogs or last week's hair tutorial, or even part 1 of this series. And you can click on any of those videos here on the screen. And as well, if you don't want to miss a minute of what goes on here, you can easily click that subscribe button. It will keep you up to date as to new videos being posted, and plus bonus, completely free. And if you like this video, go ahead and give it a like. Click that thumbs up. Lets me know you like it, and it helps promote the video. So I hope you guys really enjoyed, and I will see you on Tuesday. Bye!